What's up guys and welcome. You are watching Fazi Fitness. So let's start this video with the reigning Miss Olympia, Samson Promoting, was currently in China, doing all he can to promote the sport of bodybuilding. And that is the thing, being the champion, that doesn't just give you the send out and his $600,000 in prize money. It also comes with tons of other opportunities as well. And we all know about Samson Promoting and how he had very humble beginnings when he was still working as a construction worker. Even when he was an active IFB pro, he was also doing the whole online coaching thing during his early years as a professional athlete. And now that he's at a point where all of the hard work is finally paying off, Samson is gonna make sure that he makes the maximum out of this opportunity. So we all know the work doesn't stop here, as there is another $500,000 to be made, and that is gonna be in March at this upcoming Arnold. And with Hadi Choopan out of the Arnold, all Samson Promoting has to do is to duplicate that same Olympia look, and he will be 2 times Arnold Classic champion next year. And I have got to say, it is just so unbelievable how quickly Samson's life has changed from 2021 to 2024. I mean, he is the only bodybuilder out of this year's Olympia top 6 who has been competing non-stop from the Arnold 2022 all the way till this year's Miss Olympia. He has had no real big off-season breaks like Hunter Brada or Rafael Brandao or even Nick Walker. And still he got so much bigger and so much better in the last 3 years. And that is why I have said this so many times. He is a genetic phenomenon. No one puts on this much muscle from one show to the next. And the man deserves all the VIP treatment and the respect that he's getting at the moment. And this will only allow him to work even harder than before, to put everything on the line for the Olympia next year.
I think Derek was very close to his best. Derek didn't lose because he was unconditioned or missed his peak.
So based on the judges' feedback, it is more than likely that Derek Lunsford, he probably won't be doing this upcoming Arnold. And Father made a very good point here.
Derek lost because his upper body doubled in size and his legs didn't. So his balance was completely off.
The judges and even his coach Hani Rambod thinks that his upper body got bigger, and that made his quads look kinda small, especially in comparison. And we have to keep in mind, Derek did not take the training lightly, especially in terms of legs. He knew he was up against a guy who trains like an absolute animal, and the man who is a beast in the gym, the man who goes by the name of the Persian Wolf, Hadi Choopan. So there was absolutely no lack of effort by Derek Lunsford in the gym. He tried his level best to defend the title. The reason he might not do this upcoming Arnold is that he's basically left with 2 options. Either downsize his upper body to match up with his lower half, so that he can create more of a balance between his upper and lower body, which I'm not sure is a good idea, and I believe Derek thinks the same.
Unless his legs double in size this year, or unless he loses some upper body size to rebalance his physique, he's going to have the same problem next year.
Because now that he's up against a guy who is over 300 pounds, and actually 2 guys, Samson Promoting and Andrew Jacked, so trying to grow his quads, that is gonna be the better option. And I don't think just a few months, that is just enough time to accomplish that kind of task, to accomplish that kind of goal. Because growing your legs, that is like half your body. I just hope that Derek doesn't suffer from the kind of an issue that Nick Walker has been facing in the last 2 years, where the entire focus of the whole bodybuilding world that is towards his quads and can improve his quad sweep. So I have said this over and over again. I don't think Derek was off at all, and by any means, at this year's Miss Olympia. He was better in the upper half, in all the areas, in chest, in shoulders, so his entire focus this time, that will be improving his legs. Maybe try and hold on to all that density, all that thickness, especially after that peak week, so that he can have more of a balance, more of a proportion between his upper and lower half. Next up we have Keone Pearson, as Talmanian broke down the 212 Miss Olympia. And just like all of us felt, Keone was the most dominant competitor of the entire Olympia weekend in 2024.
He was probably the most dominating competitor of the weekend.
And he also hinted that this is a guy who is definitely gonna be battling it out with the big boys, obviously not in 2025, but in the near future. As we also at this year's Olympia Champions Seminar, Keone has categorically stated that he wants to cement his legacy as one of the best 212 ever.
Maybe we will see him against some larger competitors, even though he only weighs, I think, about 201 pounds, so he has plenty of room to grow.
And right now he is so ahead of everyone else. Plus, the man is still so young that he has a realistic chance of tying the record of Lex Lewis of winning 7 consecutive Miss Olympia titles. So for those of you guys who do not know, he weighed 201 pounds on the stage. Very natural, he easily looked above 220 pounds. And those are the genetics. Those are the gifts of Keone Pearson. So he still has about 11 more pounds to go before he reaches the 212 weight cap. Now I guess the muscle maturity that the judges point out, especially in Keone's back, that is gonna come with time. And eventually Keone is gonna transition into the men's open class. So how many of more those Olympia 212 titles does he wants to win? Because he has got 2 already. Well, Keone has never touched on that subject. In regards to Shaun Clarida, it just wasn't us the fans who saw that Shaun lost considerable amount of size, and he was really downsized compared to the Olympia last year, and even in comparison to 2022. And he lost most of that size while dieting down for the Olympia.
Downsized a little bit too much. We see that he lost overall size, leg width from the front and from the back. His chest, which is one of the points that he needed to improve, also I think lost some muscle as well. And when standing next to someone as impressive as Keone, who added everything he did, and also the amount of space and the shape that he has that he takes up on stage, we really saw the size difference between the two.
In fact, he was kinda lucky to place second, and Angel Calderon, he has closed that gap significantly, and he will be pushing Shaun Clarida extremely hard next year for that second spot, because I think that is as far as these guys can go, with Keone Pearson on the top. Next up, we have a 16 days out physique update of Christian Wski. So he's gonna be doing Romania Pro. And if Christian shows up in that same condition as he was at this year's New York Pro, he is definitely gonna be in that first call out, pushing some big names. It was such a great lineup at this year's New York Pro, and Christian Wski placed top 5. Still far away from taking his first pro win, but all the improvements that he was able to make in just 1 year, that were really crazy. So Wski is a guy with a very balanced physique, front to back, top to bottom. And most of the shows that he did in 2024, he brought crispy conditioning as well. So there is gonna be a size discrepancy on the stage if we compare Wski to the potential top guys. For instance, Akeem Williams is a big guy, and he's always full as a house. But this will also give Wski a good opportunity to get compared with 2 guys who just placed top 10 at the Olympia this year. So Wski's quads are just so amazing. They are so round, so 3D, and so bubbly. And not to mention really massive. He just needs more fullness and more muscularity in the upper half. The last show that he did, that was in June. So he also got a nice little mid-off-season break. So hopefully we are gonna see some new size on this guy at this year's Romania Pro in 16 days. So what really happened to Ramon this year? We were being told that this 20 weeks Olympia prep, that is gonna make all the difference in the world. And Ramon was also so confident that this is gonna be the year where he's finally gonna beat Chris Bumstead. But now that we have seen him compete at this year's Brazil Pro, turns out that wasn't a dominant victory over Levenho Pro and Niall Darwin. In fact, Levenho was able to beat Ramon in 2 out of the 5 shots, which is really mind-boggling, since this guy hasn't even been on the Olympia stage before. So Ramon basically missed his peak for 2 shows back to back. And taking all this into consideration, I believe it is a really good call by him to shut the season down and focus on the Olympia next year. And just don't go for this upcoming Arnold, which is happening in March. Because he is also one of those guys who has been competing non-stop since the Olympia 2022. And maybe he also needs a break. So I have got to say Ramon seriously needs to build some lats, especially from the front. He needs more width. Because the one thing that we all noticed this year is that he was getting exposed in multiple front shots, and his overall posing also degraded from last year as well. So will he go with a new coach for 2025? Well, we will have to wait and see what his plans are for 2025. So hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video, and smash the subscribe button if you wanna come back for more. Thanks for watching.